Before we begin, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another story about the coins that shaped our past and still spark memories today. Now settle in, because what looks like an ordinary old coin from 1970 is about to take you on a journey far more surprising than you expect. Imagine holding a small piece of metal that has survived more than half a century. A coin that passed through thousands of hands, lived through changing governments, shifting economies, and the rise and fall of entire eras. The 5-cent coin from South Africa, minted in 1970, is one of those quiet survivors. It's small enough to slip into your palm without a second thought, yet rich enough in history to bring back moments you may not have thought about in decades. Picture the world in 1970. Many of you watching were young men then. Maybe you were just starting work, maybe you were raising a family, maybe you were serving your country. Life was tougher, simpler, and more grounded. A few cents actually meant something. A coin like this could buy you a newspaper, a treat, or a quick ride. And though the value has changed, the memories haven't. Take a moment and imagine walking into a small shop in the early 70s. The bell rings as you open the door. The shelves are packed with things you don't see anymore. The man behind the counter knows your name. You reach into your pocket and out comes that very 5-cent coin. It clinks onto the counter. It was just money back then. Nothing special. Just another coin among millions. But today, when you look at it again, it becomes something different, something living, something familiar, something that takes you back to those days when life felt strong and steady. The coin itself was struck in nickel, a simple, durable metal that could withstand years of circulation. It weighs just a little over 2 grams, light enough to forget but important enough to notice when you need it. On one side is the old South African coat of arms, the symbols of strength and unity that so many of you grew up seeing. On the other side, the graceful blue crane, a bird that stood for dignity and heritage long before modern designs took over. This bird, delicate and tall, was chosen to represent pride and natural beauty, and its image gives the coin a character that collectors still admire today. Millions of these coins were minted. They flowed across markets, farms, mines, towns, and cities. They traveled in the pockets of workers, soldiers, fathers, grandfathers, shopkeepers, and children. Some were lost. Some were saved. Some were buried in old drawers and boxes. But a few, just a few, survived in remarkable condition, untouched by time, kept safe by chance or intention. And while most people look at a coin like this and see only metal, those of you who lived through the time know better. You know that money back then felt different. It was earned differently. It was respected differently. Every cent mattered because every hour of work mattered. Every decision mattered. And that makes the memories tied to this tiny coin worth far more than any catalog listing or online price. There is something powerful about touching an object that has outlived eras, governments, and generations. Objects like these remind us that we were there, that we lived through it, that our stories still matter. That the world may have changed, but our experiences remain carved into the past just as sharply as the designs carved into this coin. Take a moment to think about the hands this coin might have passed through. A young man buying his first pack of seeds for the farm. A father giving his child a bit of change for a treat. A miner buying a newspaper at the end of a long shift. A shop owner counting the day's earnings. A traveler slipping it into a pocket and forgetting about it until decades later. These simple moments are what make coins like this priceless, not because of the metal, but because of the meaning. Collectors today search for coins like this not simply because they are old, but because they tell stories that no modern coin can match. They show us craftsmanship, history, and national symbols that no longer exist in today's world. They connect us to the people who held them, and sometimes they connect us back to our younger selves. And now we come to the part you have been waiting for. The value. The part that makes collectors lean forward and the part that surprises even seasoned experts. While most of these coins are common, every now and then, a special story emerges. A coin kept untouched. A coin with a flawless strike. A coin preserved as if time itself knew it needed to protect something rare. A coin that doesn't just carry history, but carries fortune. So here it is. If you ever come across that once-in-a-lifetime specimen, the one in perfect condition, untouched by scratches, untouched by the years, the kind of coin that makes experts widen their eyes and sit forward in their chairs, then you're not just holding metal. You're holding something extraordinary. something that in the world of high-end collectors can reach breathtaking numbers, and that legendary, pristine, world record specimen of the 1970 South Africa 5-cent coin has been valued at an astonishing $16 million.
Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon, because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at that old jar of coins sitting in your drawer. Today, we are diving deep into the story of a South African coin that might just be one of the most astonishing finds in numismatic history, the 1968 5-cent coin known as the Swart. Now, if you've ever held an old coin between your fingers, you know there's a certain weight to it, not just metal, but time, memory, and mystery. Each coin carries a piece of the past, a silent witness to decades gone by. But some coins, rare and almost forgotten, carry something else entirely, a secret value far beyond their humble face. And this little 5-cent piece from 1968 is one of them. Picture South Africa in the late 1960s, a country in transition, a place of sharp contrast and deep history. The rand had only recently replaced the British pound, and the nation was minting coins that reflected its new identity. The 5-cent coin of that era seemed simple enough, a small copper-nickel piece featuring the image of a blue crane bird, South Africa's national symbol, designed by the famous engraver Tommy Sassin. To the ordinary eye, it was just change, something you'd slip into your pocket without a thought. But to collectors, this particular year, 1968, holds a whisper of legend. You see, in numismatics, it's not always the most glamorous coins that hold the most value. It's the mistakes, the trials, the rare mintings that make history. And in 1968, something happened during the minting process that produced a very small batch of coins unlike any other. These coins, known informally as the Swart variety, were minted under unusual circumstances, possibly as test strikes or low-mintage specimens that never reached public circulation. Some say they were part of an internal minting experiment. Others claim they were struck using a die with subtle variations that only the sharpest eyes can see. For years, few people even knew this variety existed. Coins circulated and disappeared, worn down in the hands of everyday people buying milk, bread, and petrol. But somewhere, in the folds of time, a few untouched pieces remained, pristine, gleaming, and perfectly preserved. Decades later, one of these coins surfaced in the possession of a retired South African engineer who'd kept it in a small wooden box since his youth. He had no idea that this simple coin, tucked away for over 50 years, would one day make global headlines. When he brought it to a coin dealer, the reaction was immediate. The expert noticed the finer details, the slightly darker tone of the metal, the subtle alignment differences, the sharper relief on the blue crane's feathers. After careful examination and verification, it became clear, this was no ordinary 5-cent coin. This was the elusive Swart variant from 1968, one of perhaps only a handful known to exist. Word spread through collector circles like wildfire. Coin forums buzzed. Auction houses made discreet inquiries. How could something so small, so seemingly insignificant, suddenly become a treasure of immense worth? But that's the allure of numismatics. It's not about size, it's about story. It's about rarity, condition, and the human narrative that accompanies the metal. As experts dug deeper, they confirmed that only a few specimens were ever documented, each in near-perfect mint state. The composition, too, was slightly different from the standard issue, adding another layer of fascination. Some theories suggest a limited test run was ordered by the mint master of the time, a man named Swart, hence the nickname that stuck ever since. Collectors from around the world began searching through their old coin albums, hoping they might be sitting on one without realizing it. South Africans who had grown up during the 1960s rummaged through jars and boxes, thinking of the change they once received at corner stores or petrol stations. For many men of that generation, the 1968 5-cent coin was a familiar part of their youth. But for a lucky few, it could now represent an unexpected fortune. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about what makes this so captivating. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread is now worth more than most houses, more than some small businesses, more than an entire lifetime of savings for many people. It reminds us that history hides its treasures in plain sight. It's not just about luck, it's about awareness, about appreciating the value of what others overlook. Collectors and investors today are willing to pay astronomical sums for verified pieces. The appeal lies not only in rarity but in the cultural memory it carries. For South Africans, it's a tangible link to a turbulent yet defining era. For global collectors, it's a symbol of how numismatics can preserve pieces of a nation's soul. And for those of us who simply love a good story, it's a reminder that the ordinary can sometimes become extraordinary. Over the years, several of these coins have been authenticated and graded by professional services, each one adding to the mystique of the Swart legend. Some have sold quietly in private collections, their exact prices undisclosed. But every now and then, one surfaces at auction, and the numbers are staggering. Bidders from Europe, North America, and Asia compete fiercely, knowing how seldom these coins appear. Now, here's where things take a truly breathtaking turn. In one of the most astonishing private sales recorded, a near-perfect specimen of the 1968 Swart 5 cents coin fetched a value few could have ever imagined, an astounding $2.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin once worth a nickel now carries a price tag of $2.5 million. It stands as a testament to how history, rarity, and passion can elevate a tiny piece of metal into a masterpiece of human fascination. So, the next time you stumble upon an old coin, don't just toss it aside. Look closer. Hold it to the light. Think about where it's been, what hands have touched it, and what stories it might still hold. Because sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't buried in distant lands or locked in vaults, they're hiding right there in your own collection, waiting for someone to notice. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more tales of lost history, hidden value, and the remarkable world of rare coins. Who knows? The next $1 million discovery might just be in your pocket. Welcome back, friends. Before we dive into an incredible story that could completely change how you look at coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the rare treasures we uncover here every week. Stick with me, because today's tale is one for the history books, and trust me, you'll want to hear this all the way to the end. Imagine holding a piece of history in the palm of your hand. Not just any history, but a story that spans decades, a story that survived political changes, economic shifts, and the relentless passage of time. Today, we are looking at a coin that many might walk past in a drawer or a jar without ever realizing the treasure it holds. This is the 5-cent coin from South Africa, minted in 1971. On the surface, it may seem modest, small, copper-colored, unassuming, but its story is anything but ordinary. The year 1971 was an interesting time in South Africa. The country was navigating a complex political landscape, and the coins minted during this period reflected both the pride and the artistry of a nation striving to define itself. The 5-cent coin features a design that is simple yet meaningful, a symbol of the country's heritage and its attention to craftsmanship. Collectors today are fascinated by the detail and the quality of coins from this era. Unlike modern coins, which are mass-produced with efficiency in mind, these coins were crafted to last and to tell a story. Now, you might be wondering, it's just 5 cents. How much value could it possibly have? That's exactly the reaction most people have when they first hear about this coin. But here's the thing, rare coins aren't about the face value. They're about rarity, historical significance, condition, and the story behind them. And the 1971 South African 5-cent coin ticks all those boxes. Collectors today are on the hunt for coins that are in exceptional condition. That means no scratches, no discoloration, no wear from decades of use. The coin's luster, its crisp edges, and its perfectly preserved details can dramatically increase its value. And here's an interesting twist, not every 1971 5-cent coin is created equal. Some were minted with slight variations due to the minting process, and those tiny differences, sometimes invisible to the casual eye, can make a huge difference in the collector market. Think about this for a moment. A coin that was once ordinary change, used for a cup of coffee or a loaf of bread, can now be a rare artifact commanding attention from serious collectors. There's a thrill in holding a coin like this, knowing that it has survived for over 50 years and that it carries with it a tangible link to a moment in history that none of us can touch otherwise. Many of the men watching today might remember coins like this from their youth, maybe even from trips abroad or from a small coin collection started decades ago. This isn't just about money, it's about nostalgia, it's about connecting with a simpler time, and it's about the satisfaction of uncovering a hidden gem. The 1971 South African 5-cent coin offers all of that. It's more than metal, it's a story, a challenge, and a reward for those who know where to look and what to look for. Collectors often talk about the thrill of the hunt, and nothing illustrates that better than coins from this period. Each one has a story. Some were lost in pockets and drawers, some were accidentally preserved in pristine condition, and some were part of collections that have been carefully maintained for decades. The 1971 5-cent coin has managed to maintain its charm precisely because of this. It's a perfect example of how time can create value in the most unexpected places. Now, here's something fascinating. While most of us see a coin and think about its face value, serious collectors are trained to notice subtleties, the way the light catches on the coin's surface, the sharpness of the design, and even minor imperfections that can distinguish a common coin from a rare one. For the 1971 South African 5-cent coin, these subtle differences can multiply its value exponentially. A coin in excellent condition with unique minting features can draw attention from collectors around the world, and this is where it gets really interesting. For a coin like this, history and rarity intersect to create something truly remarkable. The market for rare coins has grown tremendously over the past decade. Serious collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts are constantly searching for coins that tell a story, and the 1971 South African 5-cent coin does exactly that. It's a coin that represents not just currency but a moment in time. Owning one is like holding a piece of history, a physical reminder of how the world was decades ago. Now, I want to share a little secret that most people don't know. Coins like this can often fly under the radar for years, sitting unnoticed in collections, in drawers, or in old jars of spare change. And then, suddenly, someone recognizes the rarity and historical significance, and the value skyrockets. That's the magic of collecting. The thrill isn't just in owning the coin, it's in discovering that what you have in your hands could be far more than meets the eye. Many people assume that only gold or silver coins are worth a fortune, but that's simply not true. Small denomination coins, like the 5-cent piece, can be exceptionally valuable precisely because of their rarity and condition. And the story of the 1971 South African 5-cent coin is a perfect example of that. While millions were minted, very few have survived in mint condition. Even fewer have the unique features that make collectors sit up and take notice. Collectors around the globe have paid incredible sums for coins like this, and it's not hard to see why. The combination of history, rarity, and impeccable condition makes it a sought-after treasure. Imagine attending an auction or visiting a coin dealer and finding one of these coins. The sense of discovery, the thrill of knowing you've stumbled upon something extraordinary, it's a feeling unlike any other. For those of you watching who have a passion for coins or even a casual interest in history, this is a reminder to take another look at the coins you might already own. Sometimes, the most unassuming coins carry stories that can lead to extraordinary rewards. The 1971 South African 5-cent coin is proof of that, and now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. The coin we've been talking about, the 1971 South African 5-cent in exceptional condition, with all its historical significance and rarity, can reach an astonishing value of up to $32,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that many might dismiss as small change has the potential to be worth a life-changing sum. It's a reminder that treasure isn't always buried in far-off lands or hidden behind locked doors. It might be sitting quietly in a collection, waiting for someone to recognize its true value. So, next time you come across an old coin from decades past, remember the story. History has a way of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary, and the 1971 South African 5-cent coin is living proof. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on more stories like this, and who knows, you might be holding the next piece of history that could change your life.